So, hello everybody, here we're back. And first of all, I would like to say I was very overwhelmed by the feedback we've been getting for the first installment in the second chapter of Daughter of Alba. We're very happy that you're liking this so much. Thank you very much indeed. And today we are in Chrysaea still, and today's chapter is called Poreuomai, Traveling. It's morning. You have woken up in a tavern.
Grumbly
stomach because you have not had your dinner. You refused to eat. You were also a lot grumpy, basically, but you didn't go so far as to wake up Siobhan, who was still sleeping. She finally wakes up. She looks at you. She says, "Good morning," and she stretches. Let me guess, you're hungry.
A little bit.
She bends down and she picks up the wooden plate with your helping of dinner. So that's basically some white bread, some pita, some cheese. Also, she did leave you some of the olives, although you didn't like them at first. She said, well, I don't know. I just thought, since they came with the food, if you don't like them, I'll eat them. But the cheese is very good. It's quite mild.
She will inhale the food that is there.
And she also gives you some, and she also has like a jug of water. And then she looks at you and she says, okay, well, I've been thinking about this. If you don't want to go to your mother's place, that's fine. We can go home, it's fine. I will go wherever you go, but I have one request. I would really like to go and see the sea. Because this may be the only chance that I'll ever get to see the ocean.
Deal. I'm also still not sure what I want to do or not want to do. It's all just so weird, and
it is
a lot
strange.
of things feel just wrong compared to home. They are so different.
They are different, and I think it's also a little bit problematic because we can't really talk to them so easily.
Yeah, so I think it will definitely not hurt if we can maybe ask Philemon if he can at least teach us a few things, if he's willing to.
We can ask him, it's not a problem. So, how about we get up and I ask him for directions to the sea, because we saw it from way up there, so it shouldn't be too far. And maybe we can take a day at the seaside today.
That sounds like a plan. And then come back, have a sleep, and decide what is next to do.
Mm-hmm. So she gets up. She was very concerned. Even last night, you knew that she was not feeling too happy because you were unhappy, and of course that kind of rubs off on everybody. Or you rub off on each other when you're not happy. But then she feels a lot lighter now, and she gets up. You have got like a wash basin thingy, and she washes, she dresses, and she's a little bit giddy. Come on.
Aisling will make herself ready and will be quite quickly next to Siobhan.
So you go down. The tavern is still quite quiet, but you see Idomenios, the tavern owner's son, and he's behind the bar, and he's basically washing up mugs and cups, and he says, Kalimera. And Siobhan says, good morning, in her own language, because he doesn't speak Albi, and she looks around and she says, Philemon? And he nods and he runs out back in the kitchen, and his father steps outside and he says, good morning, how are you? And he looks at you.
Much better. Some good sleep in a good bed was much needed.
He smiles at you, and Siobhan says, could we get some breakfast, perhaps? And he nods and he starts shouting back into the kitchen, not loudly, but just basically talking to somebody in the kitchen. And then Siobhan says, I was wondering, can you tell us how we can get to the seaside? And he nods and he explains, you just follow the road towards down. And then you just keep going. The road diverges left and right, but you just keep going. There is a path. You cannot miss it, because if you just keep going down, you will end up in the sea. Not in the sea, sorry, by the sea. You can also go in the sea. It's quite warm. And he smiles.
Aisling is intrigued by this idea and scared at the same time, because it's not like a lake where you know where it ends.
Probably not. And then a woman comes out, and she and he says, meet my wife, Lethal. And she looks different from the woman that you saw the day before. First of all, she is a lot, well, she's not stout by any means, but she is a lot more filled out, so she obviously gets enough to eat. And she is she has her hair up in a very interesting kind of like those Greek statues where they basically have it like the hair around, like in a braid around their head. And she has the food on a plate, and then she says something to him, and he says something back to her, and then she puts down the silver salver and she walks out, and then she comes back with a little bag, and she puts food into the bag and hands it to you and smiles at you and says something. He said, this is for when you go out, but this is for now.
Thank you very much. May I ask, what is thank you in your language?
I have no idea what it is in Greek, so he tells you what it is in Greek. Yeah.
My
Greek ends at kalimera and kalinichta.
Yeah, I only have a few things as well, so.
And he tells you, and
let's see what Google says, because I know this vocabulary. I learned that when we were.
These are the things you learn even as a tourist, like hello, goodbye, thank you, please. And she, what does it say?
I'm not sure. It doesn't ring a bell the way I can see it, so let's see. In German. Evcharisto.
Evcharisto.
Yeah, something like that.
That sounds familiar. Evcharisto, yeah. And basically then you have breakfast. It is pretty much like dinner, so it's again this white bread. It's again this very mild cheese that definitely doesn't taste like cow's milk. This time also there is some white substance, which is more like what we would call pudding, but you've never seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is some honey drizzled over it. And Siobhan looks at it, and then she takes a little bit with a spoon and she tastes it, and she says, it tastes interesting. It tastes like nothing I've ever tasted before.
Aisling will be curious and also take a spoon and a little bit just to taste it.
Mm-hmm. So essentially it's yogurt with honey.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of nice.
It is. I wonder what it's made of.
Doesn't it remind you a little bit of... Is it? We will have to ask if it's, I don't know, from a fruit or animal.
The
color looks a bit like milk.
Yes, it does look a little bit like milk. Or like very, very... Well, like somebody who... It is almost like between butter and whipped cream.
A little bit.
So basically she waves to Philemon and says, excuse me. And Philemon steps up to your to your table, and he says, "Yes. How can I help?" And he looks at the two of you.
We are curious. We never had something like this. Is this made from milk?
Yes, it is from milk of the. And he looks for the word, obviously, from not the small ones with the horns, but the big ones with the horns, the ones that go moo.
Cow.
Cow.
So we were right. That is interesting. It's
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's called yogurt. And this is honey. But you probably know honey.
We know that. Yes.
Yes. This is from my own bees. I've got bees.
You have your own bees? It's really delicious. Very yummy. Thank you.
You will see them when you go to the sea. You will come by the hives.
We will keep an eye open.
You can't miss it. It's buzzing. And then basically you finish your... Interestingly enough, they don't seem to have tea. So whenever there is something to drink, it's always water.
Okay.
And always cold. And then after you finish, then you step outside. You want to take the horses.
Yes.
So you get the horses.
They also need a chance to see the seashore. They
First-
probably never saw that either, so...
No, they haven't. So you pick up Percy and Storm. Somebody has been looking after them. You can see that they are very happy. They are eating on their roads, and they look really relaxed. And when you look into the boxes, you see that somebody has actually cleaned them. Normally you would start the day by mucking, but this has already been mucked out. So whoever is looking after the stables is looking after your horses as well.
Ashing suspects the boy, so maybe when we get back and see him to kind of thank him for that, we'll have to see.
And you basically put on the tack and everything, and you take out the horses and you ride down till you get to the T-junction. And it's not even far away, maybe half an hour on horse.
Okay.
And then you see a path. And then you also see the vegetation you noticed was very different to begin with. Now you're going through something that's an acacia wood. So basically, if this is where the the bees feast, then this is acacia honey that you've been eating, which is, I believe, it's very strong in taste, but also not. It's kind of a little bit on the bitter side. And sure enough, after a while, you see wooden boxes by the side of the path. And you hear buzzing, and it's loud.
So, being a bit more careful passing by them, we don't want to disturb the bees.
And what you also notice is you notice bushes by the side of the path, and those bushes smell very distinctly. Do you stop? It's a very interesting smell. It's a nice smell.
Yeah, I think Siobhan as well as Aisling would be curious to we are not in a rush, so to get down and have a look, maybe break a leaf or a little twig.
So the first thing you notice about the bush is also buzzing super loudly. Do you look?
Yes.
Okay.
Bees?
No, it's full of bumblebees.
Oh.
Hundreds of them. And the bush is rosemary.
So I think Aisling will watch the bumblebees for a little bit, and will, I don't know, more smell. She will not just try and eat something because you never know what it is. Should we take a bit and ask later on if this is edible or not? Because
of course,
smells really like
nice.
something to season with.
It's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah, we should find out if this is seasoning. Yeah.
Okay, Aisling will break a little bit more and put it in her pouch.
And one of the bumblebees has found you very interesting, and it's landed on your hand, and it's basically walking around.
So it's tickling.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah.
But Aisling is holding still and waiting.
And it sits, and basically, you know, it's one of the ones that have like this white little dot at the back, and it's kind of, it's looking at you, obviously interested, and I honestly personally find them super cute.
They're very cute.
They are very cute, and of course they're kind of like, and in your language, they're called boombog, and that actually means really kind of stupid big guy.
That kind of describes them quite well, as adorable as they are, but they are not the brightest out there. Honestly, if they would be bright, they would know that physically they should not be able to fly.
Yeah. And they are basically, and they're also kind of like, it also means kind of like that they're not very dexterous, so they kind of, and it describes them.
It describes them very well.
And then he buzzes off.
Yeah, Aisling would hold still until he buzzes off, and then grab Storm and slowly start moving again, just swinging up his back and then riding downwards towards water.
I mean, you're taking your time, so you're not making a lot of haste, and it basically, you would say it's about another hour or so. So you'd say it's about 5 to 6 kilometers after you reach the junction. Let's say a horse does 6K without getting strenuously moving, and then before you see again this vastness that is deep purple, but you can now also see how it's moving. You also see the white kind of like of the tops of the very small crests of waves, and you can also see that it's a beach, but it's not really sandy, it's more like gravelly, but there is some sand, and there are a couple of larger boulders in the sea where then the waves crash against them and then they break.
Yep.
And you smell the salt immediately, so the air is salty. You can also taste it on your lips. And you didn't expect this, because neither of you have ever been to the sea, and unless you know anything about the sea, which you don't, usually you're surprised, because where does the salt come from?
Yeah, even though we know there is an ocean, but we never quite sure.
You've never been to one, and you don't know anything about it, yeah. So Siobhan is like, I can taste salt.
Me too. I can also smell it.
Yeah. And I also smell something else. It's like...
I swear I washed myself.
I saw you. No, it smells like...
Fish?
And yes, but different. And it's algae. So this... When
it's
they
kind
get
of
washed,
fishy, but not really.
Yeah. It's the sea-like smell that unless you've smelt it, it's difficult to describe. And she gets off Percy, and she leads him to the water, and I mean, she's never seen anything like this before, because it just goes on forever. There is no end in sight. You just see the horizon, and you're facing south. So the sun is to your right, because it's still rising, and it looks like it's not ending.
Aisling will just tie. I'm not even. She will see if she can. I don't know, somewhere tie Storm and probably Percy as well.
You can tie them off somewhere. That's not a problem.
And then she will just plonk her butt into the gravelly stone, whatever is there, and we'll probably just sit there and enjoy the view for a little while. Maybe pull out a snack from her bag.
Siobhan is not the person to sit down and zone out. She is very intrigued by this, so she actually goes down to the water and she bends down and she puts her hand into it and she says, he was right, it's warm.
Maybe we should take a bath.
And
You said we could swim in that.
before you finish your sentence, she's starting to take off her clothes and she steps into the water. And okay, that's now a little bit less pleasant because that does feel a lot colder than when you touch it with your hands, but it's still okay. And she keeps going, and then she realizes that actually the water is salty. It's salty.
What is salty?
The water is.
What?
Yes, it's salt water. That's what
Wait.
that's.
Aisling will just the last bit of snack like, and then also drop her clothing and run as quickly as it's not too hurtful for the feet and join. And right at the beginning already, I think Aisling will just put her finger into the water and also just like, that is weird.
Yes, it tastes salty. It's salt water. I didn't expect that. So it means you can't drink it.
At least not like this now.
But it is warm. He was right.
Yeah. It definitely. Although honestly, in summer our lakes are warmer, but they are not as deep and big.
Now we've established before that neither of you can swim, and you know this.
But we can paddle around a little bit.
Yeah, and it is shallow enough, and it's also not kind of like you're not like standing in front of the Atlantic, so it is still the Mediterranean Sea, so it's a lot less problematic, and yeah, it's pleasant, and the sun is really beginning to beat down. And let's just... Oh, I need a D100.
Oh God, we will be so burned.
Let's see if you are going to... Well, you actually get advantage on this roll simply because...
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, because of your mum. So you could roll a D100 and roll against... That's a good question.
Yeah, let me... I totally ignored that I need my character.
On a 24, she's doing not too badly.
Yes, go away. What would it be? Something like...
You can just roll one. You can just roll with advantage. Just roll 2 D100s. But if you get under, I would say 30, you definitely don't get burned.
87 and 93.
She rolled a 24. Your mother's genes do not come through today.
No.
For some reason, she is like... okay, well, that just
honestly,
doesn't make sense.
I've never had so much sun probably on my skin before.
Yeah, maybe she's just lucky for some reason. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes there are people who, even if they have like whiter skin, don't for some reason. It doesn't affect them at all. And so basically, you spend several, I would say probably 2 hours. She will not let you go earlier because she's really enjoying this.
Aisling wouldn't push for leaving. I think she quite enjoys this, and it takes her mind out of a little bit. It's still, everything here is weird, but it's definitely nice, not scary, and this is like a little bit of zen for Aisling.
Having said this, once you are done, because this is also kind of like, it's new, it's exhausting. At least for Siobhan, it's exhausting. She will actually sit down and she will look out on and she will try to become one with nature.
Oh, will I be the evil?
52, no. Will I, what?
I'm very tempted to sit next to her and be like, just poke her in the ear or something like that. Just like,
well, you
or
do
like
that.
In the ear, everything that keeps her distracted.
At some point she looks at you and she says, "You're just so evil." But this is good because it means you're a little more lighthearted.
just stretching your focus on meditation.
Yeah,
Nothing should distract you.
you're supposed to help me.
Yes, I'm giving you help that you'll be stronger to focus.
Okay, that's what you're calling it now.
Mm-hmm.
You're pulling that card.
Yep.
Can I have something to eat, please? You've got the food.
Sure, Aisling will put the bag that they got in the middle, or hand it over to her more. And
She
Aisling
eats something.
would have snacked a bit from it in between already.
And then she basically lies back and she looks at the sky and she says, I think even the sky looks different. It's so blue. And it's true. It's kind of like there are no clouds.
Okay.
So it does look different.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, the whole experience is just, you realize this is completely different. Flora, fauna, climate. You have stepped into another world.
It's really pretty here. I'm curious. I am quite sure I heard that people are fishing in the sea. I guess the fish are different than to the fish we have.
They must be.
I highly doubt our fish would like that kind of salty water.
Probably not.
You would not need to season them that much.
Do you think so? Do you think that the salt is then inside them?
Maybe. Well, they don't fish drink water. I suspect. Maybe. Not sure.
That is interesting. I've never seen a fish drink.
Oh, they're swimming in there. And they're making the blub blubs. So maybe.
Maybe they don't drink.
But every animal needs a drink. They're animals. Even the bumblebees are drinking.
Yes, that is true. Did you see the one that was sitting on you? He's really cute.
Yeah. Wow. How clear is the water?
It's very clear. You can see to the bottom.
I think Aisling would walk back into the water, and she would now try just to stand still and have a look around and see if she can see any fishes or crabs, because she should know crabs as well, because you have that also in rivers and lakes.
Well, then I would say roll on Willenskraft to see how long you can concentrate on this task. Well, it's the one that you're very good at. It's almost Zen.
VK is Willenskraft.
Yeah.
That is a success.
Okay, you hold still for long enough. And Siobhan realizes that it's also a good idea for her to stay away from the water so as not to disturb it. And sure enough, after about, you want to say, 30 minutes or so? No, 20. You're beginning to see the first small fishes. They're really flitting around you very quickly. But there is also one crab that's coming out and walking underneath the surface. Like near a stone. Yeah.
Aisling will turn around and will slowly walk back out of the water. No, honestly, why? She would basically jump and sprint back through the water and scare all the fishes. There are fishes there! I've seen fish and quite a big crab.
Well, maybe you should have taken the crab. We could have eaten it.
But it's nice that I don't have to do food hunting, at least for today.
It's fine. You just, but I think you have to get used to the idea again, because we will have to pay. I haven't really found out how much.
Yeah.
But we only have we don't have that much. We've got 12 silver.
Yeah, that's true.
So at some point we will have to start paying for it, hunting. But it's good to know that there is food in the sea as well.
That will help.
And then she looks at you and she says, You're very red in the face.
What?
Totally.
She will look at her arms.
Yeah, and you're red all over.
Although the idea of sunburn,
You have
know.
seen sunburn before. Yes, in the Highlands you get easily burnt because there's always this wind, and then you don't realize that there is the sun, and then
Sunburn. Great.
we'll have to do something about that.
Aisling will plonk herself in the water again.
Salt water and sunburn. I'm not so sure, but hey.
Hey, salt water is healing. And just to cool off, and then she will throw over her shirt and get
That
back
actually
in her
hurts.
clothing.
Yeah. It's the situation where you're kind of beginning to feel that everything, yeah. So she gets dressed as well. The two of you walk back.
Yeah, grab the horses and then getting back.
Yeah, you pass by the buzzing rosemary bush. You pass by the buzzing beehives, and you arrive at the inn.
Yep.
And Letho is outside, and she sees you, and she says, "Uma dia," and looks at and does this motion kind of like across her face, and Siobhan kind of goes.
Aisling will just smile and wave.
She smiles at you as well, and then she says, and then she makes a motion like to stop, and then she walks inside and she comes back out with a little jar, and she hands it to you and makes a motion like you dip your finger in and you put it on your skin.
Aisling will open the jar and sniff carefully.
Yeah, it's something you've never smelled before.
Okay.
But do you give it to Siobhan?
Yes. I will definitely hand it over to
takes it?
Siobhan will be curious as well, I'm quite sure.
And she also is a herbalist, because it could well be that she knows this. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I don't know. It looks like she succeeded, but I can't read this, but it was green. Anyway, so she actually says, yes, I know this. This is, it's called aloe. And Letho hears this and she nods and she says, aloha.
And now my brain is in Hawaii. So
Yeah. As I was saying, it was like, yeah. And she basically says, yeah, this is kind of like, it's a milky substance that comes from a plant.
And it helps against sunburn?
It's cooling.
Aisling will dip her finger into and just smear it and see
Siobhan
how it
needs-
feels.
Siobhan laughs because now you look really weird, but it does feel better. It does cool it and the irritation.
She will move it a little bit around, not that she has like a thick streak there. That's better. She will look over to Letho.
Siobhan takes the jar from you and she actually puts something on the ridge of your nose, because the bridge of your nose is the one that's most burnt, because it's most kind of like exposed, and then she puts it on your nose.
And she will turn to Letho and just nod and thank you.
And Letho is pleased, obviously. And,
Although not thank, she will say the
Evcharisto.
Efcharisto. She will at least try. So.
And Letho is realizing that you're making an effort, and she gives you a genuine, also very pleased smile in terms of there is somebody who is trying to make an effort. And she nods and she says whatever is the correct response. You're welcome. And then basically, I suppose you go to the stables to prepare the two horses for the night.
Yeah.
And you Do you then go back inside, or do you want to go for another walk?
I think going inside, maybe it's early afternoon, I suspect. Should we maybe take a little nap? Does that sound weird?
No, I actually have to say that I am tired.
Yeah, me too. Then, yeah, let's have a nap and maybe later on see if it's safe for us to walk a little bit around here.
You turn in. The tavern is actually empty, but you can go to your room, no problem. You can see that somebody has replaced the jug of water with fresh water and has also replaced the wash basin water. And yeah, you go to bed. And yeah, you go to sleep. And you sleep really well, because this has been exhausting, and being exposed to the sun like this, and you know, everything is new and everything smells different, and you know. And you sleep.
And we sleep, take a nap. And then wake up.
You wake up. You didn't sleep too long, I would say maybe 2 hours or so, but it has been refreshing.
Also, before going to bed, I would have smeared a little bit more of the cream, maybe on probably hands and the arms, because that would be quite good.
Yeah. And well, then you wake up. It's now itching really badly. So yeah, it's this annoying thing.
Aisling is regretting her life choices at the moment.
Yes, why did I go here? And the two of you get dressed again, and you go you go downstairs. Philemon is now in the tavern, and he greets you, and you also see 2 more guests. That are, well, you assume they are guests. They look. They look to be maybe in their 30s. And they look very Greek, very Chrysean. So, you know, like the dark eyes, the dark hair, not very tall again. But they are dressed differently. They wear, they're wearing, you would say almost like robes, but very simple ones, like homespun, you know, not like the robes that that Siobhan would be wearing, or that the priests or priestesses in her temple or the church, as a matter of fact, would have been wearing. There is no emblems, there are no signs. It's basically just like they put a sack over their heads, cut out the head, and then put some kind of you know, like belt around it. And they're not wearing shoes. And they're sitting there, and they're talking quietly amongst themselves.
Should we try to ask Philemon about how much we need to pay, just that we know how expensive it is?
That's a good idea. And she looks at you expectantly. You have the money. You ask.
Great. Aisling will smile and turn to Philemon and just step close to him.
He smiles at you. Yes.
We have one question. How much does the night cost here? Just that we know how much silver we need to leave with you. And she would pull out 1 silver just to shiver it over. Also, I hope this is valuable here as well.
He takes the coin, he bites on it, and he says, "This is good."
So how much for so far and tonight?
So for last night and this night, it is 1.
Per person?
For everyone.
Including the horses?
1. You can get more. You can give more, but it is 1.
Ashling will turn to Siobhan because she definitely suspected it would be more expensive. Well, should we give 1 per day? I think that sounds fair.
Siobhan looks at you and she says, yes, give him 1 for each day.
So Ashling will turn around, pull another coin out for tonight.
He looks at so you basically put the coins on the table on the counter. So he puts his finger on 1 coin, pulls it towards himself.
I gave him 1 coin to look at, and I'm putting a second one on the table. I'm not emptying my bag in front of him.
Okay, no. So basically, there are now two coins on that.
Yeah.
So he puts his finger on 1, pulls it towards himself, and then basically keeps pushing it until it falls off the counter into his other hand and puts it in his pocket, and then he puts his finger on the other one and pushes it towards you.
But she will push it back. This is for you and for your help. And
he looks at you. He kind of looks a little bit exasperated. Then he takes the coin and puts it to the end of the counter and says, "It rests."
Or maybe give a bit of it, however, to your boy, because the horses are very well kept and fed. I haven't seen them quite happy in a long time.
I will think about it. If he is a good boy, we can talk about it.
At least he's doing a fantastic job with the animals.
He's wise. And then do you go for a walk?
Yeah. Oh, but we would ask Philemon if it's safe for us to take a walk, or is there anything we need to be careful of?
The weather should be fine today. You should not worry. There is nothing in the area. I mean, you will come across the flocks of goats. Sometimes the dogs are a bit nervous, but they usually do not attack. Also, they are not on their own.
Anything in regardings to other people?
Other people?
We don't want to cause trouble.
Well, I trust you don't steal.
No.
Then you should be fine.
Okay. Let's go. She will turn to Siobhan. Yeah.
And you keep going outside. So it's kind of like a village with, I want to say, 7 or 8 houses. And what you notice is that there doesn't seem to be a lot of agriculture. So basically everyone seems to have olive trees. There are olive trees in every single garden. There are also these bushes again. You also see lavender, that you know. And again, it seems like everybody has kind of like a little plot where they grow their own crops. So cucumbers and that kind of thing. And you see plenty of children that are running around. So it's lively. And at some point you come to a house that looks a lot like maybe this is a church or something. And on it you can see writing. Again, you can't read it. And do you go inside?
Yeah. If it looks like we can step inside without too much.
And in it, you see it is definitely a kind of church. So it looks a lot like your churches, where you basically have like the little figurines of the gods. Only there is just 2. And one of them is almost as tall as a human being, so 150. And it's a woman who who has got a very stern face. She's got a very stern look on her face. So unlike Varna, for example, you've seen pictures and paintings and figurines of Varna, who has a very benevolent face.
Yep.
She looks really stern. And next to her is a smaller figure of a man, and he has his arms stretched out like so, spread out as if he was trying to give someone a hug, and he has a very benevolent smile on his face. And in front of them are little bowls where people have placed, well, essentially oil, and there is a little wig in them, and they are lit. And there are also some flowers in front of them. So people have been making offerings to these deities. And yeah. And Siobhan is like, yeah, this is a holy place. I don't know who these gods are, but it's holy.
They only have 2.
That is strange, isn't it? But Amphion said something. He said that your mother's people still hold on to the old gods. These are new. And I hate to bring him up, but Cyrus did mention the Nea Dea, the new goddess. Maybe that's her.
Maybe we can ask later on.
We should.
But it's kind of pretty. And it definitely feels like church.
It does. And again, nobody has struck you down. You and the gods one day. I know it.
Sure. When they get rid of that.
You are always so grumpy.
Well, you can have it. Then we can see how you feel.
Wow. Now you told me.
Well, obviously, the gods are not really helpful in any kind of way. At least not for me. I'm glad that they're supporting you.
And I support you, so hey, in a way they are helping you.
I honestly think it's you helping me and not the gods helping me through you.
When I healed you?
I still think the god gave you because you asked for it. She was not interested. She did not care, honestly. I think they just don't care.
About you mean?
Yes. Only the wrong ones obviously seem to care, although he's not a god. Is he a god?
Yeah, he's a demon.
Yeah, so kind of the same in an evil way.
But I care for you.
I know. And I'm very thankful for that. So she will have a second look or a further look at the deities. Do you want to sit here and pray? See if it works? Maybe your goddess here as well?
Well, my goddess is always with me, so yes, I will pray.
Okay. Aisling will just plonk herself somewhere. And will not disturb Siobhan.
03.
Wow.
This is her third time. If she makes 2 more times or she gets a 101, she can get the meditation skill.
Yes.
That is, do you notice this because you know what it looks like. She becomes perfectly still, which is so not her, and she's focused completely inwards. And for about 20 minutes, she just doesn't move at all. And then she comes back and she says, I did it.
Oh, yes. It was quite impressive.
I did it.
I always said you could do it if you want to.
I always said you could do it if you want to.
Training.
Ah, yes, training. You know how hard I trained to become a sister?
I know.
That was hard training. And you were the one who was always telling me, oh, you already know it. You don't have to work. Come on, let's go and meet the foals.
Yes, because I wanted to have fun.
Yes. So, come on, let's have some more fun. I really want to walk around some more.
Yeah, let's see. So we will step out again and keep on walking.
the road, you get to the edge of the village, and the road begins to rise a little, and now you can see that you're actually climbing like a hill. It's more like a bluff, and there you can see that the sea is actually right to your right. So if you now peer over the edge, there is the sea, and it's kind of like a steep cliff. But you can also see that the sea looks different here. You can see that the sea looks different here. It seems to be a lot deeper, and there's a lot more churning going on. Maybe there's also a wind down there. So it's now, you see a lot of white crescents. And then you see something else. You see out of the water, and it's still purplish, you see little gray mounds come up, and they make kind of like an undulating motion. And for the first time in your life, you're seeing dolphins. There's a school of dolphins down there, and you know how they do this. And there is like 5 or 6 of them, and they're playing in the water.
Those are big fish.
Yes, they are.
Are they playing?
It looks like it.
May I say again, it is so weird here.
But it's beautiful. Look at them.
Well, I'm thinking, how can you catch that and eat it?
I don't know.
This will feed you for a while.
Yes, they're huge. I mean, even the fact that we can see them from up here. But they're also quite a ways above the water and coming out so often. I've never seen that in fish.
Me neither.
And then you see a small one. They've got a calf. That must be a child.
More to ask. I'm thinking about, would it be... We definitely need more information if we want to go on traveling.
She steps close to you and whispers in your ear. Now you're getting curious.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, that's not you at all. This is all terribly boring.
No, weird is the way to put it. Not boring.
You're getting curious.
At the same time, I highly doubt we have a chance to get on if we don't know more about what we can eat here, what we can catch, language.
She puts a finger to your lips and she says, well, we've been here less than 2 days. Maybe just... You know, there's this word, it's a huge word. You hate it. It's called patience.
Stupid word.
Take your time.
Well, it makes sense if you want to meditate, but...
We will...
And if you want to fish, there it makes sense.
So there is two ways in which you can use and have used patience in the past, and I've seen you do it.
Well, when you train a horse, you also need patience.
When you learn the words in Algonquin that it takes for you to become a mother, you also need patience. You need patience. You should have used more patience when it was about learning how to read and write. But then when you were a grown-up and you went to school again, you were very patient learning.
Because there I was interested to learn, because I knew for what. Before I did not see the sense in it.
And you're learning something new here because you want to know more. So be patient.
I'll try. But I never had the intention to stay long here. We wanted to travel.
We don't have to stay here. But I mean, everything will require patience. When we travel, we will meet other people. Hopefully they will speak our language, or we will find a way to communicate. But it just takes time. And sometimes I just wonder if at the bottom of your heart, you're not a little afraid.
Be afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. No. I've stared a demon in his eyes and tried to chase him off.
Yeah.
Did not go very well, but...
Well, you did chase him off, but, you know, just be more patient with yourself. And let's go. I'm hungry.
Yeah, food sounds good.
You make your way back.
Yeah.
And you arrive in the tavern, and the two men are still there. And Philemon is there, Letho is there. Siobhan goes to the counter and she talks to them briefly, and she says, "We're going to get some food. I think it's going to be goat's meat. I'm not sure, but I believe so." And will you show Letho the herb that you collected? She may be able to tell us if it's edible.
Well, not Letho, because she will not. Aisling will pull it out of her pocket and she will see if she can get Philemon somehow, because Letho does not speak our language.
Philemon catches your eye and he walks towards you and says, "Yes?"
We passing by your beautiful beehives, we've seen these bushes.
Ah, yes. It's a herb. You put it in fish, for example.
That was... We wanted to make sure
you will
taste
really it. You will taste it. It's in the food that my wife has prepared.
How do you call it? And he can give me the...
He gives you the Greek name for rosemary.
Greek name, whatever it is. And, cool. Thank you. And we're curious, we've seen quite big fishes jumping out of the water and in again, and out of the water and in it again in a group.
Oh, delfinos.
Are they easy to catch? And are they edible?
You can eat them, but they are not easy to catch. They live in the deep water. You have to go out on a boat.
Okay, definitely no then.
You see, we use spears.
I know those ones. Okay, thank you. And she will plonk herself next to Siobhan, probably pick like a little bit of the rosemary and start chewing on it. So it's an herb.
It tastes nice.
She will try to pronounce, however, the word is probably totally wrong. And he said the food will be seasoned with it as well, so we can taste it there. They often use it with fish. It looks a little bit like a small pine needle, doesn't it?
It does. It does. But even pine, but it smells completely different.
Yeah, it smells different.
And as you are talking, let's see. You can now do a... Yeah, I was gonna say for Borgness I can, but what is it? That's a good question. Ach ja, es ist eins von diesen da Wahrnehmung. You can yeah, she feels nothing. On the right hand side under Fertigkeit ist Wahrnehmung.
I have a success.
Okay. You notice that the two men that have been sitting there have stopped talking to each other and seem to have been listening to the two of you.
Ashley will blankly stare at them.
Are you trying to intimidate them?
No, just curiously watching over.
Are you wearing your eye patch?
Yes. I don't want to scare the kid.
09. One of them, the two of them look at each other, and then one of them gets up and he walks towards you, and he stops like 2 meters away, 1 meter away from your table, and he bows, and he says, "You are from Alba, right?"
Yes.
My name is Dithales. And I'm gonna put that in the chat.
I have no idea how to write it.
Dithales.
I not even close.
And this is my companion. Skyonides. Or if we went with the Greek pronunciation, it would be Dithales and Skyonides. We are, well, we were merchants. We used to travel all over. We went as far as Crossing. You probably know Crossing.
Was that the...
That was the city.
Yeah. We do.
So what are you doing here? Not many of you come. Well, with the exception of the mercenaries, of course, down in Nyktoro, down in Nicostria.
Traveling. We want to see family.
Oh, you've got family. Is it in Nicostria? Is it one of the mercenaries from Alba?
Now my brain should function and know where we are going.
You have no idea. No, because this is not where you're going. You have no idea what he's talking to about. You're going to Monophrastos.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I'll just be shaking my head. But why did you stop being merchants? Are you monks now? You kind of look like monks.
Oh,
Holy people.
Not yet. We are trying to.
Hmm?
You see, this is my partner and I. We come from wealth, you know. We made a lot of money. We are originally from Kroisos, down east. But Kroisos has changed. It's fallen on bad times, not hard times, bad times. And it is godless, faithless. Yes, they go to the temple, yes, they worship the Nea Dea, but they are faithless. So, one night, I had a dream. And I dreamt of a man called Askedos Polystrates. He's a holy man. He's a stylite.
And you decided to follow in his steps?
First, we gave away everything we possess. Everything went to the poor and the broken. Then we sold our last garment and gave that money away. And then we got these, and he pulls at his coat, at his robe, and we have been walking here since then. We're looking for Askedos. We want to follow him, if he will have us. If not, we will live in the mountains.
So you have no idea where he is?
We do, but we need to get there first.
Where is he?
Well, we
If
have to...
you are willing to share.
Oh, that is not a secret. He has many followers. Well, he doesn't accept many, but people come to him for aid, for help, for advice. He preaches.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go south from here towards Nicostria and the road to Monophrastos, it is between Nicostria and Monophrastos in the mountains.
Well, that's the way where we are heading.
You are?
Mm-hmm. I just can't write it, but I know that we are heading there. We need to rename everything. It's just Bob and Steve and just short British English.
Bob and Steve, and we're going to New York.
Yeah, exactly. Just quick and easy. No.
But why would you go to Monofrastos? It's very far away.
Family.
And then he looks you up and down and he says, of course. Monofrastos, the land of the most beautiful women.
Well,
we call them thigh flashers because they dance.
interesting.
But I should not presume that you know much about them.
No, I only know that I have maybe family. We will see. But she will look over to Siobhan.
Siobhan has been following this conversation and is sitting back and kind of going, yes.
Would you excuse us for a minute?
Of course. And he bows and he steps back to his friend and they start talking again.
Should we ask them if they want to travel with us? Then we have someone who can speak the language. And we can make sure they're not getting killed immediately.
They do look a little bit lost, don't they?
Although honestly no one will try to murder them because they have literally nothing.
But there could be wild beasts out there.
Yeah.
Yes. But they could teach us some of their language, and maybe if they are merchants, then maybe they have been to other places here in Chrysaea. Maybe they can tell us something more about Monofrastos or about what was it called? Nicosia,
Nicostria, I think.
And he said that there were Albi there. He talked about mercenaries from Alba.
Yeah. I'm also curious about this holy man they are fancying.
You're interested in a holy man?
I'm just curious to find anyone who can help us with any kind of idea against that.
Yes.
Maybe
Absolutely.
he knows something.
Maybe he does.
Maybe.
Well, why don't you go and ask them if they would like to travel with us?
Okay, let's do that. And
No,
Aisling,
you do it.
Aisling will get up. She will walk over to the two men.
They both get up and bow.
Oh, please sit down. Please sit down.
They sit down.
She will pull a chair and just plonk herself next to them. So, since we are traveling in the same direction, and not to be mean, you might get in trouble if a wild beast is trying to get you.
We met wolves. I've never run so quickly in my life.
And we are not speaking your language, so we thought maybe we could travel together for a bit. You could maybe help us a little bit with the language, teaching us a few things, and we can make sure that no animal or evil mankind can hurt
The two of them look at each other, and then Duthales says, "That is such a kind offer, but we have nothing to give you. We have no money. Whenever we come across money, we give it away immediately."
But you can teach us the language.
That we can. If that is payment.
And you should know what out there is edible and what not. There's a lot here that we have never seen before, so it would be good if we know, okay, yes, we can eat that, or no, don't eat that.
My friend Skionides, he does. He used to be a merchant in food.
Perfect. Then you teach us and we make sure nothing happens to you.
The gods be praised.
Aisling would just put her hand out in her normal way, be like, "I'm Aisling."
He looks at your hand, and then he realizes that, of course, in Alba you shake hands. So he takes your hand, he shakes it, kind of like a little bit awkwardly, because maybe they don't do this, and he says, "Dutalis, now Clarion."
And that is Siobhan.
Siobhan waves. Skunidas Pintos, says the other one, and he also shakes your hand, and you can see from their faces that they are very happy. This is probably, maybe they were even talking amongst themselves that this might be a good thing, and maybe they would have asked you if you hadn't asked them, but they're now kind of like, okay, so.
So when are you planning to move on?
Well, we have not really made plans yet. Maybe, when are you going? We could wait.
We didn't make plans yet either, and she would motion Siobhan.
Siobhan gets up and she comes over. Yes?
We're just discussing when we want to leave. Do we already want to leave tomorrow, or do we want to stay for another day?
Well, we don't have any business here. We will sleep outside tonight because we don't have money for this place. So, and it is fine. The tavern owner has offered us a free board, but we cannot accept it. We've asked him to make a donation instead. And it is warm, and you've noticed it is even warm at night, so sleeping outside is not a problem at all. But we could leave tomorrow or the day after, whenever.
Then I would say let's leave tomorrow.
Very well. And then you hear him shout, and he says, "Philemon!" And Philemon steps outside, and they speak rapidly in Chrysaean, and then Philemon says, "That is very good. You will not be on your own. You have people who know your language, and you can help them."
Yeah, to scare off wolves or anything like that.
Yes, and we've mountain lions as well, and bears.
That's all things I can deal with.
And then there is, of course, the mountain range where the robbers are.
I can deal with those.
There are going to be plenty of robbers, so you might want to bring an army. Or hide.
Well, depends. I am an army. But I can also hide if needed.
He looks you up and down and he says, "Yes, of course you are." And then he looks past you, and probably it's Siobhan making a face behind your back.
Just ignoring that.
And then he offers, and then he says, "Shall I bring out the food?"
Yes, please. That would be lovely.
And he brings out the food, and then he also offers food to the two of them, and they basically say that they don't have any money. And he says, she has 1 silver resting on there. Let's take it for this.
That sounds good.
And then you have this goat's meat with, and you can easily taste the rosemary because it's very strong. And they also have something. It looks like corn, but it's not. And it is yellow. It has the form of rice, but it's not rice. It's, I don't know what the English word for it is even. It's gris.
That's a good question.
So it's this kind of corn,
I know
which,
what you mean.
yeah, and it tastes really nice. And then there is also, of course, cheese and the ever-present olive. It looks like they cannot live without olives.
Oh, grit. It's grits.
Grits. Okay, so basically there's grits as well, and the ever-present olive, and you have, and the meal it's simple, but it's also not so different from what you would have at home, like, you know, some meat, some form of corn or wheat, kind of, so grit in this case, and yeah, and that's it. And again, and also this time around, you get something that they call a cucumber salad with yogurt sauce. Very nice.
Gimme.
It's just like, we
Getting
always talk about
hungry.
food in our games, and then I'm like, yeah, no, I really need to eat something. We should write a cookbook, cooking in RPGs.
We should, and I'm just going to my fridge, and I don't have yogurt there, so I definitely can't do that.
And I don't have any goat's meat either. But basically, then you, after a while, you go to bed because the two of them say that they also want to, like depending on when you want to get up, but they want to be early birds and be sure that they are up when you are up. And they go outside and they go to sleep, probably outside, and the two of you go back to your bed.
Yeah.
And then Siobhan takes out her travel log and she starts writing again, and she writes and she reads to you what she's written, like that you've seen delfinos and what they look like, and that you've come across this new herb called rosemary, and that you met a bumblebee and now you're really red in the face because you were kissed by the sun, and all that.
Smearing more stuff on my face.
It hurts at this stage, especially also on the shoulders. She laughs.
I will quite stoically just get cream on me and will act as if it would be nothing.
Okay, make a willpower check. If you can manage to act like it's nothing.
So let's see. What is willpower?
Vika. Didn't work?
Not at all. Far away from working.
Okay. So she looks at you.
Focus on writing.
Give me the jar. I'll do your shoulders.
Putting the jar in her hand, just lumping.
She
Looking a bit miserable.
yes, and she basically puts it on your on your shoulders, because that's really where you can't really reach. And then she says, "Yeah, this is gonna haunt you for a couple of days."
This will be fun with armor on.
I know.
See, the gods don't care about
The
me.
sun god doesn't like you.
But why don't you have any?
Well, I was the one who got heat stroke.
Yeah, but you just have a little bit of tint. That's all.
I don't know. Maybe Vana was just with me today.
Great, but well, I'm thankful for that stuff. It definitely makes it better.
She put some more on your nose. Boop.
That is probably already stuff. Oh God, I will peel as well.
You will peel. Absolutely, you're going to lose. You're going to shed some skin.
Oh man,
That's going to happen. I can tell you that
so
already.
more itching afterwards. Great.
Yeah. And at some point you go to bed, you go to sleep, and you wake up the next morning.
Then we will pack our stuff. We will go downstairs. Probably grab a small breakfast.
Yeah. You grab a small breakfast, and then Philemon says, "Would you like to take some provisions?"
Yes. How much can we get for another silver? You can't give us everything for free.
I will take a silver, and on your way back, it will rest here.
Okay, and remember, part of it is for the boy.
Part of it is for the boy.
And a big thank you to your wife.
Oh, she gave me this for you, and he gives you a small jar.
She's a lifesaver. Your
She
son
said-
is evil.
She said you're gonna lose your skin.
Yeah, I suspect so.
It's not gonna be pretty.
Well,
It'll hurt.
it fits It will go. It will pass.
That it will. But of course, he looks like he's never had a sunburn in his life because, And then he packs you provisions or, and then you go outside and the two of them are already waiting. They are kneeling and looking at the sky, so they're probably praying. Do you wait until they're finished?
Yeah, I will already go and grab the horses meanwhile.
Okay. And
then let's see if they are done. When
they are done, and
they
get up and they greet you and they say, all right, are you ready to go?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Or Kalimera?
Kalimera. And they smile at you because, And then you start, and basically it's still the first part is the part that you know already. You get to the T-junction, but instead of going to the sea, you take a right turn and go, oh Gott, das ist so schwierig, southwest. That's the direction that you're heading into.
Yeah. And we will lead the horses, obviously.
Yeah. And again, it's the village is now behind you, and this road is now actually climbing. So you are moving away from the sea because you're rising above it. And they inform you that you will now be traveling through the... God. I forgot the book. You will be traveling towards a mountain range. And Nikostria is kind of like between different mountains, as it were. So it's like... there was the Nykteros that you had to cross, and then they inform you that there are two things you need to know about Chrysaea from a perspective when it comes to the land itself. Number one, it is very hot in summer, and it is very, very mountainous all over. And another thing is, every so often, the gods get into a fight, and the titans fight as well, and then the earth shakes.
Cool.
Not so, because sometimes even houses fall.
Yeah.
It can be quite dangerous. People die.
Our gods are not fighting like that. I don't think
that is
we
a
ever
good
had
thing.
earth shaking.
One of the old gods, we call him the Earth Shaker. But he also commands the sea. His name was Poseidon, until she came. But you will know all about them. Because in Monophrastos they still serve the old gods.
Well, we know nothing about the new or the old gods that you have, so I think we've seen the new ones in the church in the village.
Nea Dea and her son Bredelin.
Those are new ones, or the new gods?
Yes. Up here we only have one old god left. His name is Yaxos. He's got horns. He's the god of wine.
That's important to have around.
He likes to drink. He's quite often drunk. He likes celebration.
That sounds like a nice god. I guess he's not the fighting, earth-shaking one.
No, his name is Poseidon.
So he's shaking the earth and also is responsible for all the water out there.
Yes.
That's a lot to take care of.
But you see, in your land, in Monophrastos, they revere one goddess above all. I don't think that they care for Poseidon much. They are warriors. And they care most for Orthea. Orthea is the goddess of order.
Goddess of Order. Aisling is doomed. Order is not hers.
Do you say
Definitely
that?
not. No, well, Aisling will be like...
Siobhan smiles at you.
More to herself, be like, oh God. The Goddess of Order.
Yes.
Interesting choice.
Well, without order, all is nothing. It is just chaos.
Well, life is chaos. In the best and worst ways.
Not in Monophrastos.
Well, she will probably turn to Siobhan. If we don't like it there, we can just go. Which I highly suspect will be exactly that.
Well, you just have to give everything a try once.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is a little bit of patience and discipline, my darling.
You fit right into Monophrastos.
She ignores you and starts to whistle a jaunty tune.
So we will go on walking. Mm-hmm. And things that we do not know, Aisling would definitely ask them. Mm-hmm. Like, what is this? Can you eat that?
So basically they inform you that you will be crossing something called Katalideon. That is the name of a mountain range. Mm-hmm. And then you will make it to Nicostria. And they inform you that Nicostria is what they call a polis. And what you learn is, or what you gather from this is that, first of all, people live in polis, and they seem to be something like cities. But usually there isn't just the one, but they quite often ally. And this is what Nicostria has done. It has basically decided to ally with 3 others: Elia, Lamissa, and Trion. Triusa. You don't need to write this down at all.
Okay.
And they have formed an alliance because they are each very small. And there used to be a war against Kroisos, which is the biggest city in Chrysaea. It's where these guys come from.
Yeah.
And in order to not be absorbed and overrun, they basically have formed this alliance. And they also say that there are places that are called castron. Basically, these are little... Yeah, they are like your father's hall.
Okay.
Where there is an army. It could be like there is... It's not really the sire, but it's somebody who owns this or who has been put in there, and he runs the area, he secures it, and so on and so forth. So in a way that is not like unlike yours, and you again hear the term archon, which is what Cyrus called you, and that is basically the person who runs it. The problem with Nicostria is, or it's very different in one way from how you run politics, and that is that they have something called elections, where everyone who is a citizen can cast a vote. And whoever gets the most vote runs the show for a particular period of time.
I think that's the first thing Aisling is hearing, where she's like, that sounds quite nice.
Only in Nicostria, the person who is now running it has decided to become Basileus, which is the word for, it sounds a little bit like your king. And he has decided not to have himself elected anymore.
Not good.
And the 2 of them agree, because this is basically against their beliefs. And it seems like, except for Thalassa, which is demon central, which is very strange, and Monophrastos, which is entirely different again. This is Basilei are not something that people want anymore. They used to be them, they don't want them anymore. And this one has decided that he wants to be a basileus, and that's not going down well. There is unrest, there are people who are unhappy with it, but there are also his cronies who are benefiting from it, who find it super.
As always.
And he also says that unless you get involved in politics, you will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So he just advises you not to take a stand and say, oh, don't have a king, or yes, kings are great. Just be quiet when it comes to this. But other than that, and they have like a standing army of mercenaries that are from Alba for two reasons. Number one, you guys are famous for fighting really well.
True.
Number two, since you are outsiders, you don't have any stake in politics, and they usually only come for 5 years and then they are dismissed. Oh, hello.
I see Floof.
Yes.
It could just a short Floof. Now we see more Floof.
This is the first time since she's been here that she's engaging. Hello.
She's getting comfortable.
She knows it's you. She knows it's you.
Or she knows it's me.
Yeah. And basically, but other than that, he says you can get lots of things in Nicostria. And and then he looks at you and he says, do you have money?
A bit of silver.
Well, the coin here in Chrysaea is actually gold. And he explains that Chrysaea actually means land of gold. And he says, maybe before we travel on, you try to get some money. You could do some work.
Yeah, we can do some work. If there's heavy lifting, wood chopping, Erwedling.
Ja, Mäuslein, was ist denn los? Na?
She wants attention. She wants
attention. Yes, she wants to be part of it. That's fine. And basically, and so you learn a lot about it. And he says it'll take us about a week of traveling to get there.
Okay.
Because we have to get over the mountain. There is a pass, but it can be a little bit wild. So if there are wolves or something, we may have to run and hide. And then he looks at you. Well, maybe we don't now that we've got you.
Yep. Well, hide behind me. That would be good.
They smile. They are. You can tell that they are really. They are relaxed. The fact that you're there seems to be very good for them. Mm-hmm. And then Siobhan actually says, so how about learning some of your language?
Mm-hmm.
And the two of them nod to each other and they start with, and I mean, she is a teacher, so she knows a lot about teaching and learning. And so they begin to teach the two of you Chrysaean.
Mm.
And they start easily by, I am Siobhan, I am Aisling, you are blah, he is, she is, and so on.
And thank you, good morning, goodbye, things. Mm-hmm. Counting might be also helpful, that we know the main numbers.
Mm-hmm. And also things like left, right, east, west, north, south, that kind of thing. To ask for directions, and not only to ask for them, but to also understand the reply.
Also maybe to learn the question if there's anyone around that speaks our language, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also the very important sentence, I don't speak Chrysaean.
Yeah.
And I mean it is, you are lucky in a way because the travel is quite uneventful. You meet a couple of travelers. Sometimes you even come across people who, because it's a road really now, it's a road, who have cattle-drawn carriages, so people are transporting, and you notice they're transporting casks. Mm-hmm. They're transporting wine. It seems.
Wine, yeah.
And the vegetation, now that you're a little bit higher up, is very stunted. So it's acacias, it's bush. There's ever present lavender and rosemary.
And olive trees probably as well in between.
Yeah. But they are, you can see that they have not been cultivated because they're kind of stunted. You can pick, and there are every so often also bushes that contain nuts in some shape or form. So in a way, you can actually scavenge even for food. So, and the two of them also collect stuff because they basically go, oh look, these are, they show you mushrooms that you can eat, that kind of thing. And of course, especially Siobhan is very interested because she's like the herb person. And what you can do is you can actually think about if you want to catch some food, like let's say you notice that there are hares about or rabbits.
Yeah, I think catching rabbit or something that would.
Okay, then give me a roll for hunting.
Where
I think it's
are you?
Überleben.
Yeah, it's Überleben. I just need to. There it is. That is a success.
Okay. You get 2 rabbits.
Good. And a cat. And a cat. Siobhan made a friend.
Yeah, Siobhan made a friend.
A furry.
Hey.
Furry.
This is not Maeve, but it almost feels like it.
Yeah, it feels like it. And I think as long as we are playing, I don't think I've seen Ivy once in front of the camera, I think.
She's never been one of the... I mean, the boys always, but never Ivy.
Yeah.
She was, walking around maybe once. Yeah, and so basically then you get into the real mountains. And there you notice also something. When they talk about mountains, it's really mountains. You're climbing now.
Okay.
And it's getting colder. It's not as cold and there isn't any snow. But you actually then, at some point, notice a really odd sensation. Because the ground is starting to shake.
Okay. So before it starts shaking, the horses probably will get quite scared because animals usually feel it first.
Yeah, so you notice
and
that...
our animals don't know that.
Yeah. So the horses are... You notice that suddenly Storm is refusing to go on. You're leading him by the halter because you're walking, and he just basically stops walking.
I would turn around to him, just like lay my hand on his head, and probably then it would be like Earth starting to move before.
And he's got his
even can
ears
say like, "What happening?"
Put back, and his eyes are wide open. You can see the whites. And then you feel the Earth shaking. And Siobhan notices as well, and the 2 friends that are traveling with you, Duthalis says, "Earthquake," and he looks around, and of course you are now in the mountains, and there is mountains rising to the left and right of you.
That's not
and he
good.
says, "This is dangerous. We need to get out. We need to find a place to stay.
Hide. Can we see any kind of like cave or indent into one side of the mountain?
Survival." And she will roll as well.
I have a success.
As does she. So basically between the 2 of you, yes. Yeah. You find a cave.
Okay.
Do you go inside?
We will try to pull Percy and Storm there, and the humans will be quite happy to go there, I think.
Okay. You go into...
If it's a cave, before we go inside, Aisling would try to have a quick check if this is an animal cave, because I don't want to go into a bear
Survival.
cave. Is it survival?
Yeah, or if you've got knowledge nature something, or knowledge animals, something
I
like
have
that.
knowledge animal.
Yeah, then use that.
I've also Spurensuche.
Whichever is easier for you, because you're trying to get to a 20 for everybody who doesn't know the system, and we have basic stats, and then we roll it to 20, and we try to get to 20.
I went with Spurensuche because I'm just looking around if I can see anything, and I have a success.
Okay, you cannot find anything that looks like bears or anything like it.
Yeah, then we would go inside.
You go inside.
And would wait for the Earth to stop moving.
Okay, you can now actually it the question is how Aisling and Siobhan react to an earthquake, because I've never experienced one, but I've been told that even small ones, it's weird because it's the earth is shaking when it shouldn't, so it seems to be quite a disconcerting feeling, even though if you know what it is, it's still weird. So I don't know, how do you think you would react to this?
Since we had a warning up front that this might happen, I think it's still weird, but I think for Aisling, survival instinct jumps in first. So until we are in the cave, and I think Aisling would make sure that we don't go too deep in there. It's basically just to see if from the mountains anything will fall down, that it's not jumping on us. I think she would hold on to Storm and probably stroke him. More to calm herself than him, or both. I have no idea how Siobhan would react. Praying, probably.
That's a good point. She's going to pray.
I could imagine that her reaction, latest when we are at the cave, would be praying. Because we also don't want to get locked in here. We have a little bit of food and water, but would be nice not to be stuck in a cave.
Okay, so it's getting really problematic, and you can also hear stones falling. They're not covering the entrance, but you can hear that there is something like an avalanche coming down. And then to add to your problems, it's starting to rain. And
should we make camp here and wait?
Yes, maybe we should. And you basically
I think in between we would have collected some wood, because Storm and Percy don't have to carry anyone, so we can put a bit of weight on that with a bit of wood. Not too much, but a bit.
Okay. And the two of you make camp, and the guys help you because they are quite good at this. It's not a problem at all. And
when Aisling hears that no stones are dropping anymore, she would carefully probably peek outside and have a look if she can see any kind of trees or bushes, anything that might still be able to burn as well.
Yes, you can find something.
Yeah, then she would be like, I will be back quickly, just need more wood. And she will go out to grab more wood, and then we make camp. And hope that tomorrow is better.
And hope that tomorrow is better. Are you setting up watches?
Yes.
Okay, so who's watching first?
I think Aisling would offer to do the first one. No, the second one. I think Aisling would like to do the second one.
Okay, so Siobhan goes first. And she keeps watch, and she doesn't see anything. Now you can also give me a Wahrnehmungsroll.
Nope.
Okay. Ja, Ivy, du bist jetzt gerade im Weg. Ah, wrong set of dice. I need a d20. Okay. You suddenly hear a sound behind you. Do you turn around?
Yes. Well, no, she would turn around. She would turn around.
You see in the darkness a movement that is kind of weird. It's like it's almost like somebody has thrown, or it looked like somebody threw some form of cloth, a long band of cloth, and you saw it flicker in the light. It was reflected off of it. It was kind of whitish, and now it's fallen to the ground somehow, but you can't see it anymore because it's not reflecting the light anymore. And you can now do another Wahrnehmungsroll.
Still no luck.
Okay, but you get advantage. You can roll twice because you are now again not.
That was a critical fail.
Oh dear.
I rolled a 1.
Okay. Then.
I'm sorry to my companions.
You see out of the darkness, you see something that you may not want to see normally. Maybe not. It depends if you're a fan or not. You see a rather large spider run towards you, and it attacks you. And since you missed your Wahrnehmung twice, it has advantage in this situation, so it has the initiative. Oh, and it rolled a critical failure. Oh dear.
It's slippery and wet.
It probably got blinded by the light. So you can now try and hit it back.
Yes, they did not tell us about big spiders. Oh god, attack.
You have a weapon.
Yeah.
And you should have Kampf actually. She needs to. If you go to Kampf, you should have your.
Oh god, all the things. A sword would be a choice for sure.
She failed critically. I have to check. And on a 09, nothing happens, so she just fails.
So let me. Oh, for that it's a success. The sword definitely hits.
Okay. And she has Abwehr plus 12. And on a 16 on a 26, unless you did a critical attack, she passed. But you still get to do damage because we have this endurance thing here happening. So we have to remember this. So even if you hit, as long as you hit, she loses something.
Well, I rolled the max, so a 6 on a d6 and plus 4, so 10 points.
Oh, that is super because she has an AP of 11. And you rolled how many points?
10.
10. Oh wow. So she now has AP 01. Okay. Can you do me a favor and do you have dice, real dice with you?
Depending on, I have real dice.
If you roll 2d6 for me, please.
I can do that. I could also roll it in there. You can pick dice, but a 4 and a 5.
So that's 11. Okay, cool. Oh, you can pick dice.
I'm quite sure on the upper right side.
Oh yes, it says Würfeln, yeah.
I think, there you can decide how many.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay. Okay, so do you alert anyone of what's happening?
She will yell, "Spider!"
Okay, now let's
without
see. Without
thinking what it will do.
Oh, on a critical 1, the guys don't hear anything. Let's see how Siobhan does. On a 15, she doesn't hear you either. So you will you're alone on one more round. She will join you next round. Okay, so the spider goes, and it's trying to bite you. That was cocked. On a 26, that's a hit. On a 24, that's a hit. So now you need to use Abwehr. It's also below the thing, between the two dials.
Oh, I've found Abwehr. That is a success.
Okay, so it still does damage, but it only goes against your AP unless it is more than your AP. And she does damage, and that's 1d6 minus 2.
Okay.
So that's nothing. Because she rolled a 1, so nothing. Okay, now it's your turn.
Oh, sword again. And I'm missing.
Okay, then nothing happens.
Yep.
Then, but it's not a critical miss, right?
No,
not
no,
a 1.
it's
okay.
just...
Then
barely missed it. So I'm just
So basically,
by.
Siobhan wakes up, she was like, what's going on?
Spider!
She grabs her sickle and stands next to you. So it's your turn now. You can hit.
No, isn't it spider's turn?
Oh.
No, because
no, sorry. Yeah, no, you missed. Yeah. Oh, on a 26, she missed. She hits.
Yeah,
you get to defend. Oh.
I'm not defending anything.
Kritischer Fehler bei Abwehr. Please roll a d20. D100 for me, please.
A D100. Wait. I will have 100 here. I still don't know why I have a D20. That's a 60.
A 60.
Yep.
Okay, I need to read this because it sounds nice. Die Sicht des Angegriffenen wird behindert. Er kann in der folgenden Runde nicht angreifen, der Blut oder Schweiß aus den Augen wischen oder eine verrutschte Kopfbedeckung zurechtdrücken muss. You're sweating profusely, which is why you cannot see anything the next round, but she also does damage.
Still have only one eye, so yeah.
And she does 1 point of damage, which goes against your
LP.
AP.
AP. Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, you critically failed, so it actually does go against your LP.
Yeah.
But you have Rüstung. You have armor on.
True.
So that counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have Rüstung too. Okay.
So now Siobhan is kind of like, what are you doing?
Oh, and now I see that. Is that money? No, is it money?
Down there you have GG, SG, and GP.
Yeah.
That's money, yes.
Okay, so we are basically poor and have no money at all. I see.
No, you have now 9 left. You had 12. You had 12 to begin with, and you spent 3, so you've got 9 left. She has 2.
Because I only have 2 in my character sheet.
Yeah, we can change it. We need to. You can do this somewhere else if you want to track it here. But I actually prefer to have it on written down. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So she actually hit. Let's see if the thing defends. On a 17, yes, that's a defense, but she still does damage. 1d6 plus 3. Wow, way to go, Siobhan. That was a 5. So now it's down to. It's lost all its AP. And now it does go to LEP. Let's see if it has Rüstung. It does not. Yeah, that makes sense. So it doesn't have that much chitin, so it doesn't have Rüstung. So it is now down 11. And since it's got no AP left, it's at -4 to everything. So it's your turn.
So I can see now again. So I will.
Sorry, no.
No, I'm out, right? So
you're out.
I'm just like.
Yeah. So the spider tries to attack, and it attacks you because it was successful the first time round, but it doesn't hit you now because on an 18 that's not good enough.
Okay, I'm moving too much.
So yeah, because you go
Yeah. Can't see.
Then let's see what Siobhan does. Again, she hits again. Wow.
Very happy to have her.
That is an Abwehr that is successful regardless of the -4. But it still attacks because she doesn't have anything left. So it's 8. Oh, so it's at 3. It's your turn.
Sword swinging. It's a hit.
And she doesn't defend with a -4.
Again, 10 damage.
It's dead. It basically falls over, and then you know how they crumple up.
Yeah. What on earth is that? They don't go that big in our parts of the world.
The two guys have woken up in the meantime, and they look at it and they kind of go, ugh. Are there more?
I don't know. Is this normal?
I've never slept in a cave, so I don't know.
So for me, did the spider come from outside or from inside
It came
the
from
cave?
behind you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I looked for bears. Did not look for spiders.
Siobhan takes a burning branch from the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm going to check it out.
You two stay here.
But before she goes, she actually puts on her armor as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes her shield.
Mm-hmm.
And she...
Ashley would also grab a stick that she can turn into a torch. That's what I'm looking for.
And the two of you go into the and you notice that it's actually quite a long cave.
Mm-hmm.
And soon enough you actually see that there is a web.
Yeah.
But you also see that the web is empty. So there is no other spider, and it looks like there is no one else here, because now you've reached, I mean, it took you about 10 minutes or so to walk in because you were walking carefully. But now you've reached the back of the cave, and there is this web, but it's empty and there is nobody else there, and there are no eggs or anything.
Okay, so whoever does watch still should look inside the cave as well.
And maybe also plant a fire behind us. Because I'm pretty sure it would not have gone through if there had been a fire.
Yeah, let's do that. Boy, Aisling is in her head like, is there anything useful you can get from a spider? To use it for whatever, but I highly doubt it, so...
Well, some of them are poisonous.
Do you really want to collect poison?
I actually don't even want to touch it. Do you?
Well, we need to move it a bit. It's probably right next to our camp. Or more in our camp.
Yeah.
I will pull it a little bit back into the cavern. I think that makes... Or into the cave. That makes sense, I think, so... Not happy, but, well, it needs to be done. Aisling would grab a leg and would pull it... Try to pull it more into the cave again.
So it's got the size of a really large dog.
Okay, yeah, then I'm fine.
Yeah. Really?
No, but I should be able to drag it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I had no idea which size. I was
it's a really large dog.
Lord of the Rings XXL spider in my mind.
It's not an Ungoliant spawn. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. But so you put it away, and then you spend the night. And then the next morning, actually, the rain has stopped, and also the earthquake has stopped. Of course, it didn't go on for very long. And then the next morning, you can see that the sun is shining, and the blue sky can be seen. And the two guys are very happy to leave the cave.
The only ones, we all are.
They don't need this anymore. This was terrible. And and they basically, and so the guys and you guys also leave the cave, and the two of them speak in Frisean, and they said, we're very grateful. We would have died. Probably.
Well, that's what we are here for. Honestly, I've never seen such a big spider in my life, and I hope I never have to again.
I didn't know that they existed. It was quite terrible, wasn't it?
It was. But well. We managed.
Yeah, you did. Let's just hope that this is a one-time only thing. I mean, I prefer wolves to this because that was frightening.
Yeah, wolves I can handle. Oh, this one Siobhan handled better than I did. Thank you, by the way. You're getting better with that sickle.
It's all the hours of practice that you've been giving me. Thank you.
Well, now I know why. No, it's good for you to defend yourself as well.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't need to see anything like this again.
No. That was. Have you seen the legs? They were hairy, kind of. Ugh.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Well, let's see. But it means also maybe taking camp in a cave is not the smartest, especially if we don't look through the whole cave in the beginning.
We really didn't know. We had no idea. I've never seen anything like it.
I believe you. That's just learning for us for the next time.
Yeah.
Stories we can tell later.
That is some story.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically reach, if you like, the top of the mountain, and then you see that it's going down again. And then you also come to a... You can make a Wahrnehmungscheck, actually.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, so you keep going, but after a while you hear a noise, and it's like a horn blowing. Did you hear that?
Is that the bandits we heard about?
Oh no. Those are the holy men.
Oh?
Look!
The ones you're looking for.
No. Look! And he points to the massive cliff face.
Mm-hmm.
And in it you see something that looks almost like a combination of somebody having built or having hammered out, hewn out a house, a building on the cliff face. And it's massive. It is really big. This is a monastery.
That's an interesting choice of location.
It's the monastery of Nephiloikos. We should stay the night. You will like it.
Was Nephiloikos one of the new ones or the old ones?
As you ask him this, he says, no, it's the name of the place.
Okay.
It is very famous. Because they have, what you call it? And he looks a little bit at his friend, and they basically, what do you call this? And he holds up his finger.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dead and you are holy, and they keep this.
Relict?
Yes, a reliquary. They've got relics. Yes.
Well, it might be nice to have a roof over our head and not having to keep watch. Or not?
Yes, absolutely. We should
Looking
stay.
to Siobhan, what she says.
Yes, of course. Why
Give it
not?
a try.
I mean, at least there won't be any spiders. And basically, they inform you that this is a very, very old monastery, and it's been there essentially since before forever, and nobody actually knows how long it's been here. And this is basically just men, but they inform you that there are also women that have monasteries, only not like here, only not here, and that these monks quite often don't talk. That they have that they've taken a vow not to talk. These ones do, but they have a rule that they will grant hospitality. But once you enter their monastery as a monk, you can never leave. You cannot walk out.
Okay.
But everybody is welcome to stay for a night, for 2 nights. But they cannot give you permanent shelter. So it's really just, and they will look after travelers. They also have some healers. So if somebody gets injured in the mountains, that they will help.
Yep.
But they will not be able to venture out and retrieve somebody who's fallen in the mountains, because they are not allowed to leave again once they enter there.
Understood.
Yeah. They are also, because they are so secluded, they don't harvest, they don't sow. So the only way that they can get food is if people bring it to them.
So should we pick up some food and see what we can grab?
Yeah. So do you want to do some hunting?
Yeah, I will see if I can grab some.
Okay, try.
That is a success.
Okay. And you get, I want to say 2 hares. And the 2 of them really approve, because they say, this is really how the monks live. And they also tell you that they will not be able to give you a lot of food. What they will be able to give you is a lot of water, because obviously there is water coming down the mountain's face.
Yeah, if not, you could not even try to exist there.
But the main thing is that they will give you shelter. And it's going to be safe. And you climb up. And you also see that there is a very, very narrow path. It's just wide enough to lead up the horses.
Okay.
And you get to a huge opening, and it's like an archway. There are no doors. And do you go inside?
Yes. Although we would probably send our 2 friends first, because they could read in local language and so on.
By now you can actually, get
At least a
around,
few things,
saying hello, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And they invite you. So basically they step inside and they wait. You wait. And as you look around, you actually see an eagle circling overhead. You've noticed that they have quite a lot of wildlife, and eagles are some of them. And and there's a golden eagle circling in the sky. And after about 20 minutes, half an hour, one of your friends comes back and he says, you are very welcome to step inside.
Thank you.
You go in, and it is, you now notice that what looked like it was basically just drilled into the stone. It has been drilled into the stone, but it actually goes in quite far. And it is open to the sky where you are. It's kind of like a courtyard, and it is dominated by 2 things. On the one hand, there is a huge statue of a man, and there is a very huge well, like really with stones around it, and and there is a man, not a statue, but a real man, and he's
Yeah.
wearing black clothes.
Mm-hmm.
He's got very long hair, a very long beard, and he is super gaunt, like very thin. And also, he seems to be quite old, but it's a bit hard to tell.
Yeah.
And he steps towards you and he greets you and he says, Dimitrios, Father Dimitrios, I am the abbot.
We will greet him and or say thank you as well for giving us shelter.
And you introduce, because he speaks no Albi, he speaks Chrysaean only, and
Yeah.
you speak to him in Chrysaean, and he approves. But of course, the guys speak for you.
Yeah, but a few things like our name, well, my name is.
And you also
Exactly.
know a very important word, and that is hippos, which means horse. And you point out that you've got hippoi, and he basically, you know, the Greek word for stable. You've learned that because that's also a word that is quite
We
important.
need, yeah.
And he points towards where the stables are.
Okay.
And then he also speaks to the others in Chrysaean, and they inform you that they actually have guest houses, and these are literally little stone huts in the courtyard that can house one person or maximum two. And that's where you will be spending the night.
And we will clearly also hand over the rabbits and a few things that we found as a
And
thank you.
He nods, and he nods and very graciously accepts it. And also you can tell that he is touched by the gesture because you are observing their customs, and he's very appreciative of it. And although you don't understand him, although he has like a careworn face, you also feel that there is a lot of serenity about him.
Yeah.
And then he excuses himself and he walks back in, and and you can go and get yourself comfortable.
Yeah, we will first of all make sure the horses are fine.
And there is an abundance of water, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, we have a little bit of food that we can share
Yeah.
with them, that they have something to eat.
Yeah, and you also have like, I guess you also have like, you know, oats and stuff for the
Yeah.
horses, because when you're in the mountains they can't graze. And yeah, so and there's also a little, and they look like those beehive houses that you find on in Ireland where the monks used to live. So it's kind of like and there's just a hole in the ceiling so that the smoke can get out,
smoke
and
can
you
get
can
out.
you can make a fire. Yeah. And let's face it, you are tired because this has been quite trying. This walking and climbing through the mountains is quite tiring, and you honestly don't feel like, you know, exploring. You would need to leave the monastery again, so you're just staying put for the night. And Siobhan starts writing again, and then she says, so this is now, I've counted our 9th day. How are you feeling about Chrysaea now?
It has its ups and downs. It's still weird. I think that will be the overlining word. Weird. This is a quite weird but nice place. It's very calm.
It is very calming, isn't it? And you notice as well that you don't hear anything. It is very quiet.
You'll probably just see the wind a little bit, I suspect.
You hear the wind.
Yeah.
And then, after a while you're having your dinner, you suddenly hear voices. And it sounds like a choir. The monks are singing. And it's like these, it's a very distinct way the Eastern Church sings, these male choirs. I find it actually quite moving. And the acoustics of this place is, of course, brilliant. So it reverberates from the surrounding stones. And this goes on for about an hour, so they're having like evening mass. And Siobhan is quite moved by this as well, because it is very different from the worship that you would be used to. There isn't a lot of singing going on at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of like all male choir, that's something else. And yeah, and then after a while the sun sinks. You notice that the sun seems to sink a lot more quickly down here in the south than it does in Alba in the north where you are from.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's dark. And you go to sleep. And we shall leave it there for the night.
But let's see next time. But that was quite nice and horrific in regards to Spider Bear.
Spider. Monastery pretty, Spider. Ugh.
Yeah, that's summary.
Yeah, but I felt, we also need to kind of get back in the swing of things, of actually fighting a little bit without going over the top.
Totally. And honestly, I'd rather fight a spider and kill it than a bear.
Yeah, although the last time you met a bear, I tried everything that you had to fight him, but you just threw food around and it worked, so...
Yeah, you need to be smart in which fights you're picking.
Yeah, because that would have been really dangerous. But I mean, I hope you enjoyed it, our trip back to Midgard.
I really enjoyed it. I'm really happy that we have some company and have the chance to learn a little.
Yeah, and next week we will actually make it to Nicostria, and we will have a couple of days there in game time, also to kind of learn a little bit more about the land itself, and also to have one or the other adventure.
Let's see. Adventure, sunburn, scratching, itching.
Yeah, well, we kind of skipped over that, but yes, you did shed your skin, but it's now fine. And now you actually have a really, really good tan.
Wow. But I will know better next time not to be out in the sun at the ocean for that long.
Yeah, that is a lesson to be learned.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Then we would like to thank you all for listening, for watching, and thanks to our patrons for supporting us. And we will see you again in Grisea in 2 weeks' time.
Exactly. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
O hi mina morviena, o hi mina korviena, o hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren fojo, hi mi gondalan taches an trukuk mi, Kerer oram feilches a chan en a hukas mi, jev mi an eigus gran rukim, nach recht ging tunich en or. O hi mina morviena, o hi mina korviena, o hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren foicho.